Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nasta prayesu habhadresu nityam bhagavatam sevaya. Bhagavate uttamaśloke bhaktir bhavati naistake. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very meant of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, by regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering of service unto the pure devotees of the Lord, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the Personality of Godhead, whose praise with transcendental song is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 6, Text 39, chapter entitled Brahma Satisfies Lord Shiva. Tam Brahma Nirvanam Samadhim Astritam. Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhim Asritam. Vyupasritam Girisam Yoga Laksham. Vyupasritam Girisam Yoga Kaksham. Salokapala Munayo Manonam. Salokapala Munayo Manonam. Adyam Manum Pranjalaya Praranemo. Adyam Manum Pranjalaya Pranemo. Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhim Asritam. Vyupasritam Girisam Yoga Kapsam. Salokapala Munayo Manonam. Adyam Manum Pranjalaya Pranemo. Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhim Asritam. Vyupasritam Girisam Yoga Kaksham. Salokapala Munayo Manonam. Adyam Manum Pranjalaya Pranemo. Tam Im Lord Shiva Brahma Nirvana in Brahmananda Samadhim in trance Asritam absorbed Vyupasritam leaning on Girisam Lord Shiva Yoga Kaksham having his left knee firmly fixed with knotted cloth. Salokapala along with the demigods aided by Indra. Munaya the sage. Manunam of all thinkers. Hadyam the chief. Manum thinker. Pranjalaya with folded palms. Pranemo offered respectful obeisances. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: all the sages and demigods aided by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages. Purport. In this verse, the word Brahmananda is significant. This Brahmananda or Brahma Nirvana is explained by Prahlad Maharaj when one is completely absorbed in the Adokshaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the sense perception of materialistic persons. One is situated in Brahmananda. It is impossible to conceive of the existence, name, form, quality and pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because He is transcendently situated beyond the conception of materialistic persons. Because materialists cannot imagine or conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they may think that God is dead, but factually He is always existing in His Satchidananda Vigraha. His eternal form. Constant meditation concentrated on the form of the Lord is called Samadhi. Ecstasy or trance. Samadhi means particularly concentrated attention, so one who has achieved the qualification of always meditating on the personality of Godhead is to be understood to be always in trance and enjoying Brahma Nirvana or Brahmananda. Lord Shiva exhibited those symptoms, and therefore it is stated that he was absorbed in Brahmananda. Another significant word is Yoga Kaksham. Yoga Kaksha is the sitting posture in which the left thigh is fixed under one's tightly knotted saffron-colored garments. Also the words Manunam, Adhyam are significant here because by means of philosopher, one who is thoughtful and can think very nicely, such a man is called Manu. Lord Shiva is described in this verse as the chief of all thinkers. Lord Shiva, of course, does not engage in useless mental speculation, but as stated in the previous verse, he is always thoughtful regarding how to deliver the demons from their fallen condition of life. It is said that during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advaita Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned soul to the platform of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Since people were engaged in useless occupation which would continue their material existence, Lord Shiva in the form of Lord Advaita appealed to the Supreme Lord to appear as Lord Chaitanya to deliver these illusioned souls. Actually, Lord Chaitanya appeared on the request of Lord Advaita. Similarly, Lord Shiva as a Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, is always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls as exhibited by Lord Advaita Prabhu. Om Magyanatimrandasya Jnananjano Salakaya Chaksoranmalitamena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sujapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagano Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Visakan Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatrobhyascha Kripasindubhya evecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibha Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Tam Brahma Nirvanam Samadhim Asritam Vyupasritam Girisam Yoga Kaksham Salokapala Munayo Manuna Madhyam Manumpran Jalaya Pranemo. All the sages and demigods aided by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages. Vande Nantarbhutaiswaryam Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nichopyat Prasadarshat Bhakti Sastra Pravartaka. So we are continuing here with the wonderful pastime of Lord Shiva, and yesterday we have heard Lord Shiva lives forever eternally because he says that he has heard the Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely. So to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam, to go back to the abode of the Lord, becomes the goal of human society. But somewhere or other, when Vishnudutas came to deliver Dundubi, Dundubi is the brother of Gokarna. They were two brothers. Gokarna is a devotee of the Lord. Dundubi, somewhere or other, he was too much attracted to the sense gratification of the world. He has neglected his own wife and he was associating with few prostitutes around. So in this way, he was stealing and murdering people and doing every kinds of things to take care of his 5 prostitutes' wife. So in this way, he was indulging in too much of a sense gratification and sinful activities. And the 5 of his wife, they became little bit afraid that one day he may get caught by the king and the wife also will be implicated into that, his activities. And they decided to kill him. So in this way, they boiled the ghee, the boiling ghee, they throw it in his ear and they killed him and they buried him. He became a ghost. And he was, in the subtle body. See, ghosts normally, they don't have their permanent planets. It's called Antariksha planet. It's about from here to about 400,000 miles from here. In between the ghosts, sometimes they are there, sometimes they also come and enter into the body of a devotee. They are the Brahma Raksha. They are not an ordinary ghost. Those ordinary people commit suicide, they become a ghost, a real ghost. When some devotees, when they commit suicide, they will become a Brahma Raksha. That means the ordinary ghosts, they'll be hanging around all the dirty places, for their, ongoing journey. Whereas the devotees, being addicted to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, addicted to the devotee association, addicted to the prasadam, and now they don't have a gross body. So to enjoy these things, they have to enter into another body. So the Brahma Raksha, the devotee, goes always there around the temple, around the devotee association, and finally they'll be delivered because of their continuation in the association of the devotees of the Lord. Now the Dundubi, it became ghost, and he's not a devotee, so it's become so difficult. Normally the Garuda Purana says, when somebody has a normal death, so it will be at least 10 to 16 days for the soul to start the journey from here. For the Brahmana, it takes 11th day, like Prabhupada says, when the devotee leaves the body, observe for 10 days. On the 11th day, clean the house and then cook prasadam, invite the devotees and give them a feast. So because the first 10 days, there is the, procedure. Now the person has lost his physical body. Now they have to do some ceremony offering of pindas. In the chapter 1, text 41, Arjuna is asking this thing, he says, that Pindo, like I says, if somebody, if you're going to kill all these men in the battlefield, and who is going to continue the offering of the pindas to create another gross body for this person? So in this way, somebody, normal death for the Brahmana, it takes, 11 days. For the Kshatriya, it takes 13 days. For the Vaishya, it takes 15 days. For the Sudra, it takes 16 days for the soul to start their journey towards the Pitruloka, the planet of Yamaraj, which is about 560,000 miles away from here. And from the 560,000 miles of the planet of Yamaraj, and then you go below from that about 240,000 miles, then you will see Lord, Vishnu is lying on the Anantasesha from the navel of him comes, the lotus stem where Lord Brahma is seated there. Now somebody dies normal, this is the procedure from 11 to 16 days, according to whether they're Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Somebody who dies in an accident, it takes a month for the soul to depart from here. And somebody who commits suicide, normally we don't do any ceremony for them until 1 year, because the journey only starts after 1 year. So now Dundubi has been killed and he became a ghost, and he was very much struggling, and then he came to his brother for help. He said, "You are devotee, you should help me to deliver me." And Gokarna, the devotee, went to many holy places, even he went to Gaya, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to do some ceremony for his father. But even after going to Gaya, still, the brother was telling, "I'm not delivered, you please help me." So Gokarna went around and some sages advised him, "Since you are devotee, you should recite Bhagavatam for 7 days for your brother." So he told his brother, "I'll be reciting for 7 days, you sit and listen." So the news spread, all over, and many people came to sit to listen to the recitation of the Bhagavatam from Gokarna. And after the 7th day of recitation, and the chariot came from the planets of the Lord to pick up Dundubi and go back to his planet. So at that moment, up to that 7 days, nobody could see him, the Dundubi, in his subtle body. On the 7th day, he has got a body like a Lord Vishnu with the 4 hands and everything. And the chariot are coming, they picked him up, and then they were leaving, and everybody else, they were a little bit disturbed, because they thought, we also sat and heard the Bhagavatam for 7 days together with, Dundubi. But why he alone got liberated? What about us? So they were worried about this thing, and Gokarna understood that, the others are not very happy because Dundubi alone got the liberation by hearing Bhagavatam. So on behalf of them, Gokarna asked Vishnu Dutas that, equally everybody have sat and heard the Bhagavatam. Why Dundubi alone get the liberation, not others? And Vishnu Dutta says, there is a quality way of doing devotional service to the Lord. He says there are 10 kinds of people, very difficult for them to go back to the spiritual world. He said, number 1, those who are, going after the knowledge which is unstable knowledge. Those who are hearing the unstable knowledge cannot go back to Godhead. And those who are taking the knowledge from a very doubtful sources, they also cannot go back. Those who are not listening the Bhagavatam in a very great concentration, they cannot go back. And those who are chanting japa but not concentration, they also cannot go back. And those who are not having faith in the spiritual master, they cannot go back. And those family who do not have ethics in their life, some principle in their life, they also cannot go back. And those who are doing some oblation to forefathers without any qualification, they cannot go back. Number 8, those who are giving charity to somebody who is not fitting for the charity, they also cannot go back. And those people who are living in the land where there is no Vaishnava, they also cannot go back. And number 10, those people who do not develop the humility in themselves. Even hearing the Bhagavatam, he said they cannot go back. So in this way, 10 kind of people, even they are connected to hearing, but they have to make sure the knowledge we are hearing is very stable knowledge coming from the parampara. And we should not take the knowledge from very undoubtful sources. There are many books, literatures, Vedic literatures are available. We should not go and take knowledge from everything and anything unless it's coming from the parampara again. And number 3, we should have, concentration in hearing the Bhagavatam. In this way, he says that these are the people who cannot go back, but anyway, they have come to hear. He says, always there is a second chance. He said, now you do a second round for all these people. And after hearing for the second, they follow the 10 things properly, and they said, we'll come back again. Then to Gokarna, they said, my dear Gokarna, they said, for all other people who are hearing, he said, for them, I will come. No, Vishnudutta, they said, for all those who are hearing, for them we will come. But you, Gokarna, Govinda, the Lord himself will personally come to take you and go. So in this way, the Bhagavatam is a very important subject matter for us to hear. Dharma projato kaitavotra paramo nitman saranam satam. That Srimad Bhagavatam reject all the cheating religion and establish the ultimate truth about the bhakti, jnanam and vairagyam to go back to the Lord. So the Bhagavatam, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 2, Text 5, Text 7, Text 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As a beautiful information is coming from these texts, where Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Narada Muni to give him the information about the principle of religion, where people can attain the highest human goal of life. There is a question by Yudhishthira Maharaj to Narada Muni. He said, please let me know what is the principle of religion where people can achieve the human goal of life, and kindly let me know what is the general occupation in the world. What is the occupation on the social order and the spiritual order? Bhagavan Srutam Ichami Nirnam Dharmam Sanatanam Varnasrama Charayuttam Yatpuman Vindate Param. The Krishna consciousness is the inclusive of everything. That, one subject matter of being spoken in Krishna consciousness is the general occupational duty. Sometimes people believe in secularism, that I got my belief, you got your belief, they got their belief. But even they got a secularism, but there is a way for people to come together as a human being on the platform of general occupation. So if we will listen to this thing now, Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Narada Muni, please let me know what is the general occupational duty, what is the social order and spiritual order of the human society. Nadva Bhagavate Jayam Lokanam Dharmam Setave Vrikshed Sanatana Dharmam Narayana Mukam Chrithem. He says that now I will explain to you about the Sanatana Dharmam. What we are practicing in Krishna consciousness is called a Sanatana Dharmam. Narada Muni said, I've personally heard from Narayana about this Dharma. Then in the same Canto 7, Chapter 11 and Text 7, he says that Dharmam Bhagavatam Moolam. Then he said that the Moolam, the very source of the religion, Krishna consciousness, is Sanatana Dharmam, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam Moolam Bhagavan Sarva Vedamayo Arihi Smartam Chatat Vidam Rajan Yena Chatma Prasidyati. When you talk about religion, Veda, everything, the very source, the root of every of these things is Krishna himself. And he says, on this basis of this 30 principle, which Narada Muni is going to explain to you this year, On the basis of this 30 principle, human beings, they become very peaceful with their mind, with their body, with their soul, by practicing the 30 principle of this Sanatana Dharma. So very important for us to understand. It's not anything external here. Everything about Krishna consciousness is internal. The Shastra says there are two kinds of devotees. One are Abhyandaram, another one is Bhavyam. Abhyandaram means inside is a very good devotee of the Lord. Bhavyam means externally is a devotee of the Lord. That means externally somebody has got the symbol of a Vaishnava with the tilak, with the neck beads and chanting bag and with their uniform. But internally they may not have the kind of bhakti, jnanam, vairagyam. A real devotee means he has got a devotion for the Lord, and that devotion is supported by the knowledge, and it also he has got a very great detachment. Whatever is favorable for bhakti, it takes it for the practice. Whatever is unfavorable, it rejects. So Narada Muni says, on this basis of the Sanatana Dharma, the body, the mind and the soul become very peaceful, happy, and it goes back to the spiritual world. So in this way, Narada Muni explains the 30 principle. Krishna says, Yada yada I dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyudanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham. The chapter 4, text 7, Krishna says, wherever, whenever, and wherever there are decline in religious practice, I will come. So here Narada Muni says, from the Canto 7, chapter 11, text 8, 9, 12, text 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there are 5 slokas as I said. Satyam daya tapa saucham titikseksha samodamam ahimsa brahmacharyam cha tyagas swadhyayam arjavam santosam samadrikshena gramyeyo paramam sane nirso sasam visrena maunam atma vimarsanam annadayo sambibhago bhutebhyo cha yada harta te svatma devata buddhir sutaram nirsu pandava sravanam kirtanam chasya smaranam mahate gate Sevacha vanaste dasyam sakyam atmam samarpanam nirnamayam paro dharma sarvesam samudadrita trimsha lakshanavan rajan yena sarvatma tena tusyati. Trimsha lakshanavan rajan means there are 30 principles. It's called Sanatana Dharma. He said number 1 is that those who follow the path of Sanatana Dharma, they should become truthful. Prabhupada very beautifully explains in the translation the purport. Prabhupada says there are many countries, they call themselves as a secular. That means we don't force anybody anything here. It's up to them whether they want to follow or don't want to follow. But Prabhupada said, but there is a general, discipline, principle is in human life. That nobody likes to deal with anybody who is not truthful. Whether you believe in religion, don't believe in religion, whether you are follow the Muslim way of life, whether you follow the Hindu ways of life or the Christian ways of life, doesn't matter. But there is a basic principle that everybody should come together. That is to be always truthful in their dealing. So Narada Muni says, out of the 30 principles, number 1 is truthful, number 2 is kindness, number 3 is austerity, number 4 is cleanliness, keep your heart inside and outside very clean, number 5 is tolerance, number 6 try to distinguish between good and bad, and number 7 is control of the mind, number 8 is control of the senses, number 9 to become free from any kinds of violence. Number 10 is to control, to have a brahmacharya life. That means brahmacharya means control the eyes, ear, nose, tongue and the skin, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Number 11, giving charity. And number 12, studying the scripture. And number 13, being as very simple in one's life. And number 14, be satisfied in whatever you are situated in your life. And number 15 is to do some service to the saintly people. And number 16 is to not to waste time. Number 17 is to not to indulge in the philanthropical work for the bodily concept of life. Number 18, to always be silent in your life. And number 19, to understand the difference between body and soul. Number 20, should distribute, annam prasadam to anybody and everybody in the world. Number 21 is to understand that you are divine personality in the world. Number 21, to hear the subject of Bhagavatam. Number 23 is to chant the glories of the Bhagavatam. Number 24, to remember the glories of the Lord. Number 25, to do some menial service to the Lord. Number 26, offer your obeisance to the Lord. Number 27, do some puja for the Lord. Number 2, always remain as a servant of the Lord. Number 29, to be a friend of the Lord. Number 30, Atmanivedanam. You have to give your very self to Krishna. This is mentioned in the Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you got some time today, you go back and refer these things. Very, very important that sometimes people take up religion, but they never take up the principle, what the Lord has come here for, what He has wanted us to do in our life. People do not, take it very seriously. Everybody talking about something about religion, but hardly you see that many are practicing in the world. With, so many churches are coming up, so many mosques are coming up, so many, temples are coming up, more organizations coming up, but there are more problems are coming in the world. There's no solution. Because people do not put it into practice what they learned from the scripture. There was a boy, he went to school, and there was an exam. After the exam, he came back to the house, and the father asked him, how was the exam? The son said, the exam was very nice. The father asked him, did you answer all the questions in your exam paper? And the boy says, no, Papa, there is no easy question. There are difficult questions. So father asked him, so did you answer the question? He says, the difficult question, I do not know the answer. So I did not write there. And the father asked him, how about the easiest question? Easiest question, did you answer the easiest question? The boy got very angry. He said, Papa, don't speak like that. The easiest question, I've already know the answer. Why I must write there? No? So we know a lot of things, Unless we put it into application, in the practical application. When we call it a devotional service, not devotional service, just come and see and go. Sarvo padi vinirmuktam tatparat vena nirmalam rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhakti ruchate. Sevanam means service, using your senses into the senses of this Rishikesh, the master of the senses. And how to do anya bilasita sunnam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnena seranam bhakti ruttamam. The highest type of devotional service to the Lord is that it is free from any kinds of personal interest of karma or jnana. So in this way, very important for us to understand this thing. Now, Lord Shiva, being a Vaishnava, is very interested into the subject matter, and he himself, wanted to educate the people on the teaching of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he was desiring to do this thing, and that is how he appeared in this world as Advaitacharya. Beautifully, Prabhupada writes about this thing, that Kubera, there's a Vaishnava by the name of Kubera. He's the father of Advaita Acharya. So he married and he was praying to the Lord for a son. And he prayed to Lord Shiva to give a son, as qualified as Lord Shiva himself. And Lord Shiva says, there is not possible somebody as qualified as me, but I personally will become your son. In this way, Advaita Acharya appeared in the family of Kuvera, and from the very childhood he mastered the Vedic literatures. He very interested in Krishna consciousness. In this way he grew up a very wonderful devotee. So one day his father, because the father being a servant of the king, so one day he took him to the king's palace, and they had some prayers in the king palace. The king palace, he had got a small temple of Durga Devi, the wife of Lord Shiva. And when the father took Advaita Acharya to the palace of the king, and they came to the temple, they were praying to Durga Devi, everybody bowed down, but Advaita Acharya, he never bowed down. See, then the king looked at him, everybody bowing down, this boy is not bowing down, so he was not very happy. He was very angry, then he chastised Advaita Acharya's father, how your son is not bowing down. So the father told Advaita Acharya, look, everybody bowing down, and Goddess Kali is not an ordinary person. You should bow down and respect, and I am working for the king. You do like this, then there's a great problem for me. You have to bow down. Advaita Acharya says, if I bow down to Kali, Durga, and everything will be destroyed. And he said, look at the king, he's very angry, you have to bow down. So then when Advaita Acharya bowed down, the deity, Durga deity, exploited, he banished, from there. And everybody was wondering, why after bowing down, boy bowed down, what happened to deity like that? I was exploited, Then, then they understand that, Advaita Acharya is the husband of Mother Durga. Generally, the husband, he did not bow down to the wife. When we should not think that, the men always think they're very big. Everybody got their own duty to perform. Like, Arjuna was telling Krishna, Krishna wants Arjuna to kill all these people in the battlefield. In the chapter 1, text 39, Arjuna said, Kula saya pranasyanti kula dharma sanatana dharmanastam kula Krishna adharma bibhavati uttha. If I kill all these men, and the women will be without any protection. It's a duty of a man to give protections to their women 365 days, 24 hours. There's a duty of a man to protect their wife. Even not for a play, a joke, he should raise his hand, to abuse their wife. The women, very important for the growth of the population in the world. There are 12 kinds of children are coming to the world. The best children, the 12 children has to be produced by the woman. So the woman should be kept very happy all the time, very peaceful all the time. And the man's duty that every day you should give some gift to their wife to keep the momentum being there. So in this way, there's a great praise about, the women to be taken care. Because when a man dies, somebody has to do the final rites for him, and needs the children to do the final rites. So he needs the mercy of their wife to produce the children, even for him to go back to the heavenly planet. That depends on his wife. She can give you a child, it can be done. So in this way that, it says that the women are, considered to be the earth, the men are considered to be the heaven, the spiritual masters are considered to be the spiritual world. If somebody can please their wife in this world, just like the children, if they can please their mother, they get all the opulences in the earthly planet. If they please their father, they get the opulences in the heavenly planet. if they please their spiritual master, they get the opulences in the spiritual world. So yes, somewhere other, Advaita Acharya being the husband of Durga, he was forced to bow down. Now, there was a proof that, he is the Lord Shiva himself came as Advaita Acharya. Then Mahaprabhu, being younger to Advaita Acharya, then, he was, very much respecting Advaita Acharya, but Advaita Acharya did not like this thing. He knows that Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna himself, is not very good, that, that the Lord is, giving me that kind of respect. So he decided somewhere or other, that make sure that Mahaprabhu is not respecting me. So he went to Santipur. He had two places to live. One is Santipur, one is in Navadvip. Sometimes he stays here, sometimes he goes to the other side. And then when he went to Santipur, he has, started to propagate the Mayavadi philosophy. Tattvam Asi means that, that I am God. Sarva Khalo Idam Brahma. That means everybody else also is God. So he was preaching the impersonal Mayavadi philosophy in Santipur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to know this thing. He rushed to Santipur. He was very angry with, Advaita Acharya. He slapped him and kicked him. And, his wife has to come to, save his life. Are you going to kill the old man here? Let him live. So in this way, finally, Advaita Acharya Prabhu was very happy somewhere or other that the Lord has taken a position to be his supreme master, and he has, chastised him to go in a very proper way. So in this way that, here Prabhupada says here that, Lord Shiva has got his own sampradaya called Rudra Sampradaya. There are Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajans, Swayambhu, Narada, Sambhu, Kumara, Kapilo, Manu, Pralado, Bhisma, Janaka, Bali, Vayasakti, Bhayam. That Lord, Shiva is one of the Mahajan. There are 4 bona fide sampradaya is there. There is, Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya Sampradaya, one, which we are situated. There is a Rudra Sampradaya coming from Lord Shiva. There is Sri Sampradaya coming from Lakshmi Devi. And there are Kumara Sampradaya coming from the 4 Kumaras. And there are 6 Vedanta schools, 6 different schools in India. If you go, every religion, every philosophy of everybody is only from these 6 schools. It is called Vedanta school. There is, one is Advaita school. Another one is Vishishta Advaita school. The third is that, Vishishta Dvaita school. The third is called Suddha Dvaita. The 5th is called Dvaita Dvaita. The 6th is called Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. Advaita school, founded by Sankaracharya. Vishishta Advaita, founded by Ramanujacharya. Vishishta Dvaita, founded by Madhvacharya. Dvaita Dvaita, founded by Vallabhacharya. And Suddha Dvaita, founded by Vallabhacharya. Dvaita Dvaita, founded by Vishnu Swami. And Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, founded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are 6 philosophies there in the world. One is called Mimamsa. Second is called Sankhya. Third is called Nyaya. Fourth is called Mayavadi. Fifth is called Yoga Sastra. Sixth is called Vedantis. The Mimamsa philosophy propagated by Jaimini Rishi. The Sankhya philosophy propagated by Kapila Rishi. And the Nyaya philosophy propagated by Gautama Rishi. Mayavada philosophy propagated by Astavakra Rishi. Yoga Sastra philosophy propagated by Patanjali Yogi. And the Vedanta philosophy propagated by Vyasadeva. So these are the Sampradaya, bona fide Sampradaya. Is there Rudra coming from bona fide Sampradaya? There's a bona fide Sampradaya, just like, we are situated in the Brahma, Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya. We also situated in a bona fide Sampradaya. In the chapter 4, text 2, Krishna says, Evam Parampara Praptam, Imam Rajas Rishiya Vido Sakalene Hamato Yoganasta Parantapa. that, due to the broken into the, the chain of disciplic succession, my dear Arjun, I'm coming back to speak the same, principle of religion again. So that in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, first it was spoken by Lord Krishna. What we are learning today, it is, it's 155 trillion and 22 billion years old. The philosophy we are learning is 155 trillion, 22 billion years old. Because when the Lord created Brahma, that is the time that, the Lord have imparted the knowledge, Veda, to Brahma. So now Brahma's, duration of Brahma's life is 311 trillion, 40 billion, now already past 155 trillion, 22 billion, and there is remaining, there is 156 trillion, 18 billion years to go. Prabhupada says, if you are not careful, you have to come back another 156 trillion, 18 billion years. So now first Brahma, Krishna spoke to Brahma. Brahma spoke to Narada. Narada spoke to Vyasa. Vyasa spoke to Madhava. Madhava spoke to Padmanabha. Padmanabha spoke to Narahari. Narahari spoke to Madhava. Madhava spoke to Akshobhaya. Akshobhaya spoke to Jayatirtha. Jayatirtha spoke to Dayanidhi. Jayatirtha spoke to not Dayanidhi, Jayatirtha to anyway, there is, after that is the Dayanidhi, spoke to Dayanidhi, Dayanidhi to Vidyanidhi, Vidyanidhi to Rajendra, Rajendra spoke to Jayadharma, Jayadharma spoke to Purushottama, Purushottama spoke to Brahmanya Tirtha, Brahmanya Tirtha spoke to Vyasa Tirtha, Vyasa Tirtha spoke to Lashmipadi, Lashmipadi spoke to Madhavendra Puri, Madhavendra Puri spoke to Iswarapuri, Iswarapuri spoke to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa, Rupa to Raghunath, Raghunath to Krishnadas Kaviraj, Krishnadas Kaviraj spoke to Narottam, Narottam spoke to Vishwanath Chakravarti, Vishwanath Chakravarti to Baladev Vidya Bhushana to Jagannath Das Babaji, and Jagannath Babaji spoke to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur spoke to Gaurkishore Das Babaji, Gaurkishore Das Babaji spoke to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj spoke to His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada spoke to a lot of his disciples, and his disciples have spoken to us, and we are speaking to other people. So in this way, we are situated in a very wonderful, in the family tree of Krishna himself. By the mercy of Prabhupada, we've been directly put into the family of Krishna. So in this way that, somewhere or other now comes the problem, because the Lord have instructed Lord Shiva to propagate the Mayavadi philosophy. This has been told by Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva told Parvati that he says, Mayavadam asaksasram prachanam buddhao uchyate mayaiva vihitam devim. He says, my dear Parvati, that I've been personally instructed by the Lord that to counteract the philosophy of Buddhism. Before the Lord Shiva comes as the Sankaracharya, there was already Lord Buddha propagating about atheism, more or less close to nirvana, as everything is zero in the world. Because the philosophy of Lord Buddha is that ahimsa parama dharma, that the Lord come as Lord Buddha to see how he can establish, the highest religion in the world is in non-violence. The people were using the Vedas, using the name of God, they were killing so many animals. Even today, go and talk to the people, they may say, oh, I'm not killing, I'm just, eating only. The people do not know the intricacy, the problem, how everybody is connected. The Shastra says a person who ordered to kill, a person who helped to kill, a person who killed, a person who sell, a person who buy, a person who transport, a person who is cooking, a person who is eating. All these 8 kinds of people get the same punishment. A person killing and eating also get the same punishment. So in this way that Buddha says that without being free from violence, how are you going to establish the love for the Lord in your heart? He says, don't worry about the Vedas, don't worry about God, nothing exists here. Only exists is that you must become a good man, free from all kinds of violence. So Buddha somewhere or other he has propagated nirvana, somewhere or other propagated atheist type of philosophy. Now everybody were forgetting about God. And that moment there's a need for somebody to come and remind people there's the existence of God. You must believe in God. For that reason, Sankaracharya, Lord Shiva comes as Sankaracharya. And he comes and says that, Tattvam Asi, he says, Sarva Kalu Idam Brahma. Actually, there is existence of God. People were talking, there is no God, no God, no God. And immediately to come and tell, there is God, you don't believe. So he got an idea, he says, actually there is God, you are the God, If everybody is thinking, there is no intelligent man, and somebody come and said, there's intelligent man, you may not believe. But if he says that, actually you are the only intelligent man, you are the intelligent man. So to come and re-establish the belief in God, so Sankaracharya come and said, actually there is God and everyone is God. So from no God existence, now comes the God existence, talk. And now there is a need for everybody to understand the reality. It is that, that you are not God, but Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings the philosophy, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, that he says, actually what Sankaracharya says is not, is also true, that everyone is God, but everyone is a small God, Krishna is big God, is a supreme God. The same line they are going, from little they uplift the consciousness of the living being. Now when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi, and the Mayavadi sannyas, Prakasananda Saraswati, he was, making joke, fun of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, Murka sannyasi, nija dharmo nahi jane, bahukera haya, bahukera pene. He says, my dear sannyasi, why you are so foolish? Sentimentally you are just singing and dancing and rolling on the floor. Why you are doing this thing? You come and sit among us. Mahaprabhu, he says, Amihayina sampradaya toma sabare. He said, I'm coming from a very low sampradaya. I'm not qualified to sit, among you people. And to me, he says, you are like big Guru, Jagat Guru, and I'm not even equal to all your disciples. Mahaprabhu kept himself very humble. And that humility shown by Mahaprabhu, that Prakasananda Saraswati Maharaj attracted. He said, can I ask you one question? He said, Vedanta Padavadhyanam Sanyasare dharma tarachaha karakedi yekere karma. He said the duty of a sannyasi is to study the Vedas, live on the base of the Vedas, but how come you are sentimentally singing and dancing, you're rolling on the ground? It's not the duty of a sannyasi. Tumi deki tumi, no, Narayana, Saksha Narayana. He says, you exactly look like Narayana, Krishna himself, but somewhere or other, why you are indulging in a very low class activity? Are you fool or what? Murka, are you fool? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, Prabhu kahe suna Sri Padayere Karana Guru More Mukadeki Karila Sasana. My Guru Maharaj, Ishwarapuri told me that, you are fool, you will never understand the Vedas, you simply sing and dance on the base of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Vinu Kali Kale Nahi Ara Dharma. My Guru Maharaj said in Kali Yuga there is no other dharma in the world, only chanting of the holy name of the Lord. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in a very humble way, he has educated the Prakasana at Saraswati. Eventually, all the Mayavadis, they joined together and chanted the holy name of the Lord. And finally, Lord Shiva, as a Sankaracharya, he was going around preaching the philosophy. He took sannyas when he was 8 years old. He wants to take sannyas, but his mother is not allowing him. And one time he went with his mother to the river to take bath, and the mother not allowing him to take sannyas. So he, played a wonderful pastime. When he was swimming, there was a crocodile came and caught his feet, and he was calling for the mother, you please help me, I've been caught by the crocodile. The mother don't know what to do. Then he says that, and only way the crocodile can let me go from here is that if you tell me that I can take sannyas. Mother have no other option. Mother said, okay, you take sannyas. 8 years old. But he lived for only till 32 years old. So then, he took sannyas and he was propagating. But, when he takes sannyas, the mother was very sad, and he told the mother not to worry. Whenever you require me, you just, think of me, I will come. So when the mother became old, she was in the dying bed. And then she told of, him, and he appeared there. And he appeared, the mother was dying. Then, he chanted, Lord Shiva's mantra. Then, Lord Shiva appeared in front of the mother. And the mother got frightened to see Lord Shiva with the trident, with the snake, everything, she was frightened. She said, I cannot see this form, I'm not very happy. Then he understand that, all he has to do, bring Govinda Krishna. Then he chanted, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Mulamathe, Samprapte, Sanyate, Kali, Nahi nahi dukrin karane. Beautifully he sang to them, Angam galitam palitam mundam dasavihanam jata tundam vridoyapi gridvadandam tadapina munchati asa pindam punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janane jayate sayanam iya samsare bahudustare kripaya pade pahe murari. He sang this beautiful Govinda, calling the Govinda Lord to come. He says that in this world, in people's life, everyday human being, I know their duration of lifespan is reducing. And whatever, the senses they have got day by day, the quality of their senses are also reducing. Day by day, the hearing power become reduced, the seeing power become reduced, their walking power become reduced. He said every day, when people are growing, he said, slowly people's, everything, of their senses become reduced and imperfect. He says, but one thing is not reduced in people's life. Even they're getting old, hearing power become reduced, seeing power become reduced, walking power become reduced. But one thing in the people's life never reduced, their desire never reduced at all, he says. He said, due to their desire, they are coming back again, taking birth again, dying, punarapi jananam, birth and death, due to their desires, they are coming back to the world. He said, in this way, coming in the world, they are drowning in their life of repeated birth and death. Their life become very miserable. He said, only way they can be helped in the world, rescued, from the, ocean of birth and death, is that he said they should be rescued by Murari, Govinda, Krishna alone. Only Krishna can help them to deliver from the cycle of birth and death. When he sang this beautiful song to his mother, then Lord Krishna appeared there. And Krishna appeared, she was very smiling. She said, my dear son, this is the beautiful form I wanted to see, not your Mayavadi philosophy. So in this way she went back to the spiritual world. So by the mercy of Prabhupada, we have got this wonderful, this thing. All you have to do is that, Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is very simple. He says, sing, dance, take prasadam. If you are not running a temple, if you are not preaching, you will understand Krishna consciousness is the best in the world. Because we have opened a temple, we are preaching, so there are a lot of, management has to be done, administration has to be done. We have to interact with a lot of people to teach them Krishna consciousness. So people's problem become our problem. But personally, if you see, you have no problem. When before my mother dying, I went to see my mother, and my mother said, you are the best son in the family, And many years, I've been a devotee there, and my mother said, we are 6 members in the family, we are 3 boys, 3 girls, My mother says, all your brothers and sisters, they are married. Whenever they are calling me, whenever they telephone, talk to me, only they're talking about their problem. Mommy, I got this problem, that problem, this problem, that. You are the only son. Never talks anything about problem. You never told me at any time you got a problem. Only thing you tell me, chant and be happy, chant and be happy. And you are telling me, prasadam. And my mother says, you have actually, well, my mother later, she took initiation from my Holiness Goloka Maharaj. And when she was dying, she could able to predict, when she is going to die. She told me in 1 week time I'm going to die, But I did not really believe my mother what she said. I thought they're getting old maybe, But when I went there, the same time what my mother said, after 1 week she left the body, in the association of the devotees, calling Krishna name. So when I went to see my mother said, you have practically saved me from your father. My father is a very nice man, very loving man. But he loves the children, very much. But he hasn't got that kind of love for my mother. Somewhere or other, the chemistry is not so well. But in the Hindu family, normally morning they fight, evening they sit, that's how their life goes on, Then, my mother told me once, I'm having a very difficult time with your father. He argues, sometimes he raises his hand, sometimes he abuses me, I'm not very happy. So she said, you are devotee, please tell me what I should do, So that time I told my mother, you should become a devotee, Father cannot do anything to you. She said, really, yeah, what I should do? I said, you always chant Hare Krishna and read Bhagavad Gita. So my mother said, how that is going to help me? I said, don't worry, So I gave her one chanting bead. And then that chanting bead, no chanting back, I didn't give chanting. I said, you hold the chanting bead and every day chant Hare Krishna. And then, after chanting, you tired, you read Bhagavad Gita. My mother said, I don't know how to read. I said, don't worry, you keep, Krishna can help you. So my mother just wanted to get away from my father's, trouble. My mother always chanting Hare Krishna, when she's tired, she sit and holding the Bhagavad Gita. Like that it went on, quite some times. And one day, my father told me, he told me, you want to become a devotee, that is your problem, become a devotee. But why you make my wife devotee? I say, why? She's not even talking to me, always chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I cannot even go and talk to my wife, So I go and tell my mother, father is very upset because not able to talk to you. Then she said, that is the best, medicine you have given to your father, She said, every time he comes and, initiates some talk and the talk become, fight, argue, then he will raise his hand. So now I'm chanting and reading Bhagavad Gita, your father is not coming near to me because he thinks I'm chanting, so he's very scared, very scared of chanting and Bhagavad Gita. My father, when I joined Hare Krishna, in the beginning my father was not happy, but he's a Hindu, somewhere in the corner they know he's God and everything, but due to the attachment. So my father, when I go back to my father said, you become devotee, that's okay, but why you don't want to get married? So many Hare Krishna devotees, they're married, they got a family, they're chanting happy, why you are not getting married? So whenever my father see me, only will tell me this one thing, get married. And it's already, about 15 years that time, I got to Australia and New Zealand, I came back. And one time I went to see my parents. My father said, come sit down. You have to have a serious talk. My father said, so when are you going to get married? I said, no. No, you have to answer me today, when are you going to get married? He was very persistent. So I said, let me go and talk to mother, see what mother says. So he said, okay. So I went to my mother. So I told my mother that, father is asking me to get married, what do you think? My mother said, don't listen to your father. Never listen to your father. She said, I made that mistake with your father, you don't make that mistake. So I asked my mother, are you happy with your father? Happy with father? She said, no woman can be happy with your father. That's it. So I go to my father. My father, so you speak to your mother? I said, yes. So what your mother said? Mother said, don't listen to you. She said, she regret marrying you. And my father got angry. My father said, you think what? Happy married to your mother? I regret marrying your mother. So I told my father, you are not happy marrying the mother. Mother is not happy marrying you. Why are you pushing me into the thing? My father said, this is life. He said, this is life. He said, you go around to any family house. No family man can tell you 365 days, 24 hours they're happy. Nobody like this is the way of life. He said, I said, I don't like this life, you take it, So like that, somewhere the life in the material world is already very difficult. Like Prahlad Maharaj told his father, Tat sadhu manne suravadya dehinam sada sammigya dhiram asakriya. Taking birth itself in the world is very miserable. Then you go into the family life, it's like a dark well. Because you are not alone here, somewhere or other you have to adjust to the situation with the family, children, and then if you are Indian, you are not only married to one lady, you're married to her father, her mother, her relative, you're answerable to everybody, So in this way, somewhere or other, Prahlad Maharaj told, to father, you are already in the dark well, you're miserable. Better you go to Vrindavan and surrender to Krishna and Vrindavan. So in this way, somewhere or other, by Prabhupada mercy, I've got this simple process of chanting Hare Krishna. There are a lot of things we've been talking about Lord Shiva propagating so many philosophies, not very helpful to the human society. But somewhere or other, Prabhupada, being a very honest devotee of the Lord, he brought a very clear crystal, process, which is very simple. There was one, the Western world, there was a devotee at a bus party, brahmachari team. In the bus party, they got a small, temple room they made inside with the altar, with the curtain and everything. So one time, this bus party brahmachari, they went to one village, and all white devotees. There's only white people in the village. So they took the bus there and parked the bus near the river, and then everybody got down from the bus, and happily all the brahmachari, all jumped in the river, and they're very, happily swimming, and somebody, go and, climb to another person's shoulder, and then they're pushing, like fighting, There was one lady from the village, old lady from there, she's looking at these devotees, and first time she's seeing these people with this kind of color of clothes and their shaven hair. She thought, some aliens have come to their place. And they not only come to the place, but, they're also fighting in the river. And she called, the police to come. The police came. Somewhere or other, police understand the Hare Krishna. But police saw that these boys are very happy, and he understands nobody in the Western world happy unless they've taken some drugs. So he was thinking these people would have taken, these boys would have taken some drugs, So he called them up and then he says, are you in drugs? They said, no, we're chanting Hare Krishna, we're happy. No. I said, unless you have taken a drugs, I want to check your bus, So go into the bus, then in the bus, the Gornita is standing there, raise their hand, and the curtain is closed, and there's a devotee sitting and doing the noon offering, and the police come, then he was looking around, where is this drug, and then he saw that, there's a curtain there, so he told them to open the curtain. And, Pujari said, curtain cannot open because offering is going on. The police said, no, open, I want to see what is inside. And they said, no, it cannot open. And the police thought, oh, that is where they keep the drugs. That is why they don't want to open. And he take out the gun and then he was pointing, towards, Gornitai. The curtain is closed. Gornitai is at the back of the curtain. He took out the gun and then he was pointing like that. He said, now you open the curtain. The priest said, cannot open. He said, if you don't open, I'm going to shoot now. Open. Then they opened the curtain. Gornitai standing like that. And the police said, they already surrendered out to shoot them. You chant Hare Krishna, raise both your hand and chant Hare Krishna, you're protected in the world. So in this way that, by Prabhupada's mercy, Vaishnava's mercy, we had this wonderful opportunity. So tomorrow is going to be a very wonderful event here. A lot of auspicious things has happened, tomorrow is being Akshaya Tirthi and the appearance of Lakshmi Dev. So many things are there. So we'll look forward to see the tomorrow's, prayer. Thank you so much for being here. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Pramanande.